It looks like in the Situation Room, we have Chief of Staff, Tom Ash. We also have Solicitor Pakula, and then we have Commissioner Helen Colton Harris. We're joined by Lindsay Hackett in Finance, Counselor Allen, Counselor Whitfield. I believe Attorney Davis is on the line, as well as Paul Tudhill. So welcome, everyone. Commissioner Counselor Whitfield has committed to typing in some of the critical numbers so as not to have to repeat yourself like we did last week. So you can get started. We'll start with you, and then if there are any other updates, we'll hear them at that time.
Thank you very much, counselors. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, there are 101,592 total cases. I should say to you that the Commonwealth has changed the way in which it is doing and reporting the numbers. So within that number, we're now reporting presumptive cases. So the 101,592 total, the confirmed cases are 97,964. The presumptive cases are 3,628. So the Commonwealth will continue to include presumptives in their data cases. Hampden County, 6,237. That is 6.13% of the total cases in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Confirmed cases in the city of Springfield, 2,439. That is 39.10% of the cases in Hampden County. Springfield is 2.40% of total cases in the Commonwealth. The deaths in the city of Springfield, the deaths in the Commonwealth are 7,152. Hampden County, 608. Hampden County accounts for 8.50% of the state numbers. In the city of Springfield, we have 102 deaths, which is 16.77% of the deaths in Hampden County. We are 1/10 of 1% of the deaths in the state. The city of Springfield's 102 deaths indicate 53 are white, which is 51.96%. 21 are black, which is 20.58%. 27 are Hispanic, which is 26.47%. And one Asian, which is less than 1%. It's 0.98 of 1%. In our breakdown for the long-term care facility, 54 of the deaths in the city of Springfield were at the long-term care facilities, which is 52.94% of the total of 102, and 48 are residential deaths, which is 47.05%. That is, that's the data to date. Homelessness, the tent, we are meeting today to talk about a potential transition plan for the tent. There are only 3 people in the tent right now, and so we need to have a conversation about moving forward and how we respond to the community. I told you last week that Taylor Street has shut down because of positive COVID cases. They are now back open, but they are only doing 50%. They have reduced their capacity by 50%. So we've had good meetings with them, and we'll continue to meet with the homeless population. The departments that I oversee are continuing to get ready to have their phase 1 opening. That's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Councilor Whitfield, were there any numbers there that you might need repeated? As I know you were typing in the queue, or are you?
I think I'm good.
Okay, all right.
I just gotta spell out what is what.
Got it. Lot of information. We appreciate it,
Yeah.
Commissioner.
I just didn't do the percentages. I'm just doing the numbers.
And it might also be nice too, Commissioner, is if you have that information electronically after each of these meetings, it might be good just to send it out, so that everybody has it. I'm not 100% sure how the chat works and how long folks will be able to access those numbers in the chat, or whether it leaves us with the meeting. But it might be nice to get those percentages at least, and the numbers at the conclusion of the meeting, or at some point in time during the week. Brendan, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, when the meeting ends, the any text that's placed in the chat is automatically downloaded to the documents folder on your computer.
Oh, wow.
And these cases were as of the 3rd, correct, Commissioner?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Are there any other updates from the Situation Room?
Yeah, I could just alert you that we are very close to issuing the application for restaurants that want to take advantage of the executive order that's issued by the governor. We're still expecting more details from the governor, but internally we have been working. Yesterday we had a meeting with a number of, I think there's probably about 15 different restaurants from throughout the city looking for input. We discussed a proposal. We had Councilor Gomez participating, as well as Councilor Fenton, and we discussed the process, which we will be announcing today or tomorrow, but we'll have applications out there by Friday, and we'll get those turned around quickly, so restaurants can start their outdoor activities.
Thank you, Solicitor. And if you could keep me in the loop, especially knowing that there are a couple city councilors who are involved, I think that's great to see. I think it's something that we want. But if you could just keep me abreast. I didn't quite realize that was happening. I'd imagine that's probably why Councilor Fenton was reaching out to me yesterday. And maybe I missed it in the emails as well. That's quite possible, as I've been inundated. So thank you.
Kept in the loop.
Okay.
Can we all be kept in the loop? Because I had spoke to Nancy Creed about it previously, and I told her that I was going to reach out. And so when I seen in her update today that the meeting had already taken place, because she sent out an email already on it, that I was a little bit shocked. But I know that you said that this was going to happen the last time. I just would like to know as well.
Yeah, no, we want this done by tomorrow, so there's really not going to be too much.
Okay.
I think we're talking about in the future, Solicitor. I'd imagine that you're going to probably be convening business owners and restaurants again, and certainly as the process continues to evolve from the state, it'd be nice to Tracy's point, Council Whitfield's point, the entire council know. That's better for me, because then I don't have to redistribute the information. But even more to the point, if you're looking for councilors to participate, I would definitely like to know at the outset.
Yeah, this was not a public meeting, but it was Councilor Gomez that specifically requested, and Councilor Fenton had also reached out to me. So, but I'll make sure that you're in the loop.
Appreciate it. Well done, though. I think it's great that we actually have councilors at the table. Any other updates?
Not really.
I think we get right to Councilor.
So for those that are coming onto the call late, there's a hard stop by the Situation Room at 12:05. I think we all probably have a lot to do. So if folks have questions about anything that was posed, we'll probably have enough for one apiece, and then we'll conclude the meeting. So if anybody, just raise your hand in the queue. Councilor Whitfield, sorry, am I not looking at the queue?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
That's all right.
Commissioner. I think I deleted the Springfield total COVID cases.
Springfield, I'll give it to you again, but I will follow up on Council President's recommendation and just send this out so you will have it. 2,439.
2,439.
39.10% of Hampton County.
Thank you, Counselor
Thank you.
Whitfield. Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other questions? I see Counselor Allen and counselors, if we could keep our questions to one and kind of do a turbo round, knowing that we only have probably 15 to 20 minutes remaining. Thank you. Counselor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. Yeah, my question is just about the opening. We've had this phase 1 opening now for about a week. If you could just give us an update on how it's going, from both perspectives, from inside City Hall and from customers outside City Hall.
When you say phase 1 opening, are you talking about the
the City Hall opened last week, right? With the
City Hall, yeah. So
yeah.
by all reports, it's going well. We still have staggered employment shifts. We're all still spreading out and social distancing. The appointments pretty much have been, as you can expect, to pay bills, and some of the more routine. The clerk's office has been busy, but the lines in the morning have not been bad. It's been very accessible. I think people realize that there's people back in the offices. The phone's ringing a little more than it had. And maybe Tom's got a broader view, but
Yeah.
from my position.
I check daily, Counselor Allen, with department heads to make sure that the process is smooth. I also check throughout the day with staff who are allowing the appointments to come in, and that's been overwhelmingly successful. People are wearing face masks, they're signing in, they're being patient, and it's just going really well. The one hiccup that we're seeing is sometimes department heads will note that people will go from one office to another rather than saying, I'm sticking to one appointment. Not a huge problem. We're seeing a little bit of it and we're addressing it, and it's been largely successful.
Thank you. Just one quick related one is the temperature check outside, is that an all day thing? That's staffed all day?
Everybody, staff included.
Thank you.
And I should also add that all of the appointment sheets that are given to my department so that we can potentially follow up with contact tracing. So that's an additional step that we put in. So we know who was in this building when, in the event there should be an unfortunate incident. So that's a check-in.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Allen. We're also joined by Counselor Edwards as well as Counselor Ramos. And I know he can't raise his hand, but he has texted me and said that he has a question. So Counselor Ramos, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. My question is for the Commissioner. Commissioner, I sent you an email last week, and I appreciate your response regarding face masks for seniors. I did want to follow up and ask, whether or not we're providing seniors with information on how to get a face mask, even if we can't provide a face mask for them. If we're able to give them information as to how they can get one and where they can get one, I think that would be really helpful.
Thank you, and I think that's an important point. When I got your email, I did check in with the Department of Health to see what their process is around educating seniors, not just about face coverings, but just making sure that we have all of the guidance in place for them. And so they have made phone calls to seniors to direct them where they can get face coverings. What we're working on now, Councilor Ramos, is to see if we can put together some funding to be able to help seniors with that cost. We have not reached that yet, but your point is well taken. If we start to hand out face masks to seniors, then we will need to hand out more than one, which could be quite an expense. So that's where we are. The Department of Elder Affairs is working with the seniors, particularly when they do food deliveries, and we deliver over 100 a day almost for our seniors. They're checking in at that time as well.
No, Commissioner, I appreciate you looking into this issue. And just for the record, I know that it will be an expense, but I think that it's one that we can absolutely get behind. And so I hope that we can make it happen.
Thank you, and I think no one disagrees with you at all, Counselor, that it would be a wonderful thing for us to be able to do. We did start out by saying we were not going to face masks, with the public. However, seniors, individuals over the age of 55 and 65 are most at risk. So that's an excellent recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Ramos. Counselor Letterman, did see your hand raised in the queue. Did I not?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, my question was actually similar to Councilor Ramos's, but I was just wondering if we might be able to schedule a committee of the whole meeting in the near future, just to more so discuss our senior center operations in general as we move into the different phases. I think, I don't know in what phase folks are thinking of opening senior centers. I would imagine it would not be for quite a while, given the fact that our senior population is among such a high risk population, and we still do not have vaccine or proven treatment for the COVID-19. And so I'm sort of thinking, I know that we've been doing a number of stopgap measures, working very closely with Greater Springfield Senior Services around making sure that folks are fed. I know the department's been making wellness calls, but I'm also thinking that, I'm sure there already has been, but there will be in the future a real, I think, mental health component to this in terms of our seniors who relied very heavily on the senior centers for their social time and opportunities to interact with their fellow seniors as well as other individuals that care for them. So I think it might be good to have a meeting just to discuss in general what type of creative options we can do going forward to try to address that in the absence of their physical presence.
Joe, thank you for that recommendation. We will not be opening the senior centers until phase 4. And so that is obviously, a ways off for us. We are, as you suggested, and it is Sodexo that's doing the meals for our senior center. I recognize Greater Springfield Senior Center is doing meals as well, but they are not, to my knowledge, doing their meals in conjunction with the city of Springfield. So phase 4, we will open. There is some thought, Counselor, around how we open. Do we open the satellite centers or do we just open our AJ initially? Those conversations are ongoing, but we appreciate your recommendation and thought. We're happy to provide any information that you would like as far as what we're doing currently, what we're seeing as far as our seniors are concerned, and the strategies that we put in place to make sure we are thinking about their mental and physical health as well. So thank you.
Yeah, I certainly recognize it's a broad issue. So perhaps if we had a meeting specifically on that with yourself, Commissioner, and the director, I think that'd be positive.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Letterman, and certainly let's talk offline, Counselor, about putting that meeting together when the time is right. We now have 11:53. The administration has a hard stop at 12:05, so that means we have roughly 12 minutes. I do not see any hands raised in the queue, but
Also, before I forget, so next week, Superintendent Warwick will be on the call.
Oh, good stuff. Councilor Whitfield will be excited by that. Good to know. Are there any other questions? If there are no other questions, then we will conclude
Mr. President, can I add one thing?
Absolutely.
I didn't give a financial update. Not a lot has changed. If you're interested in just hearing real quick.
Sure, yes, absolutely.
We did have some increased COVID expenses related to reopening City Hall, things like PPE and making sure everything was in place. And one thing I want to mention is, as you all know, we extended the tax date out through June 1st. So we've been watching that very, very closely for tax receipts coming in. And obviously, as expected, we're a little lower than previous years. So that is going to make a big difference in how we end the year. And that's something we're watching, multiple times a day. So I just wanted to give everybody an update on that.
Thank you, Lindsay. Are there any other questions from the council before we close out? Still have 11 minutes. Okay. With that being said, thank you all so much. Have a great day and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Fenton, I owe you a phone call.